Welcome to Chain Reaction, the Foreign Policy Research Institute's flagship network of podcast series examining the political, security, economic, and social trends shaping Europe and Eurasia. Throughout the year, we're talking with experts about developments in Russia's war in Ukraine, the new European security order, the past, present, and future of the Baltic states, Russia's political economy, and great power competition in the region. Join us each month for
Bear Market Brief,
Baltic Ways,
Report in Short,
and of course, our flagship, Chain Reaction. New episodes are available each week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. This week on Chain Reaction.
Hi everyone, this is Rob Lee. I'm a senior fellow in the Foreign Policy Research Institute's Eurasia program. 2 months ago while I was in Kyiv, I interviewed Yevgeniy Malik, and we're releasing the first part of that interview today. Yevgeniy was a sergeant and squad leader in Ukraine's 36th Marine Brigade at the beginning of the war, and he fought during the Battle of Mariupol. In April of 2022, he was captured by Russian forces and would spend the next 2.5 years in Russian captivity. In this interview, he explains exactly what captivity was like, and exactly how he survived it. That captivity included daily beatings, included other forms of torture or mistreatment by Russian forces. It's particularly important given that there are many Ukrainian POWs still in Russian captivity who face the exact same experience on a daily basis today. So, Yevgeniy, could you introduce yourself and maybe tell us a little about what you did in the war and when you joined?
Thank you, Rob. So my name is Yevgeniy. I'm 32 years old. I joined Ukrainian army in the year 2018, July. And since that time, I served in the 1st Separate Battalion of 36th Marine Brigade till the very end. I met this war in Mariupol direction, 21st February the year 2022. And I got to the captivity in middle of April, spent there 2.5 years. I came back to Ukraine in 14th September, the year 2024. Since that time, I got the rehabilitation half a year because the injuries were really hard, and half a year is the minimal time you need to spend for yourself to recover.
We're going to do 2 different podcasts, one about the battle and one about captivity. We're going to talk about captivity right now. So on April 14th is the day your unit surrendered. You were a sergeant, so you were a squad leader when the war began. But by this time of the battle, you had about 90 people under your commands.
That was at the very end because I got the position I was responsible for. That was a position called Charlie Factory or Aglo Factory. I was there since 16 March, the year 2022. That position we got 30 people, 30 guys, Marines and soldiers from 56th Infantry Brigade and 3 guys from National Guard of Ukraine, the 9th Regiment from Zaporozhye city. But due to the commands and due to the situation, our brigade surrendered in 12th April, battalion surrendered in 13th April, and but not all people wanted to surrender to get to the captivity, so they tried to escape by themselves. Cause we got an order. Well, everyone is free to do what he think is suitable for him. The majority tried to surrender because before this, on 9th April, we tried to break the string in Mariupol, and with all our brigade, we got to our troops in Zaporozhye, but we failed and we got plenty casualties. I think approximately 400 guys were killed in the battle during the night, and that's why I stayed with my guys on my position. And during this couple of days, soldiers who tried to escape and they fitted in it, they came back, all of them. They were coming back to the factory, and they found the only position which exists at that time. That was my position. That's why all these people, they were coming to our position because, we controlled that small part of territory, approximately 2 square kilometers. And at the end, we got 90 people. And due to the order, I was the commander of the position, but there were plenty of officers. We got even a commander of our airborne company, of our battalion there.
to give the context, at this point, President Zelensky had already signed an order for people in Mariupol to surrender, or they said that if you need to protect lives, you're allowed to surrender. Isn't that right?
The order was from Zelensky and Zaluzhny to make everything is possible to save the squad, to save soldiers, and each commander did as he thought is better for the squad. Someone decided to give up, to surrender. Someone decided try to get to our troops. I know the whole company from our battalion which managed, and they came back to Ukraine. That was, I think, some kind of heroical part of this war, because approximately 180 kilometers zone around the Mariupol, which was controlled by Russians totally, and the company with the battles, they managed to get to Zaporizhia, and they got, I think, 60 people, and they managed to get to Zaporizhia, and that is something unbelievable, because I didn't believe that is possible. But we have to understand that a lot of our guys who tried to do this, they didn't manage, and they are dead.
And to give you context, so your brigade was holding the front line east of Mariupol when the war began. You fell back, and we'll cover this in the other podcast. You fell back. Your 36th Marine Brigade fell back to the Ilyich plant in northwest Mariupol.
And then, just not, because Mariupol was some kind of like triangle, and we were on the top of it, so that was not part of Mariupol. Even though city wasn't there, the city was 30% of territory and 60% was factories. And we were on factory, the northest part, the city of the whole territory.
And so the 36th Marine Brigade was in the Ilyich factory. Azov Brigade was in the Azovstal factory to the south. And then as the battle progressed, the Russians cut off those two factories between themselves. At this point, I think the city had been encircled since early March. So resupply, logistics, all these things had become an issue, and ammunition had become quite a big issue too. And as you're saying, after President Zelensky gave the order to prioritize kind of saving lives, your brigade kind of command post, I think, was broke apart, right? And then the battalion, and then it was based at you, where you were not getting orders from anyone above you, and that's the time when you started to. You negotiated with Russian forces to surrender.
The situation was like this Azovstal factory was on the south of the city, and our factory Ilyich was on the north. And between them there was a city. The city was held by Russians in the middle of March. Right. Well, second part of March maximum. 26th March, we didn't go to the city at all, because that was the one-way ticket. So we were cut from Azov regiment. About the ammunition and provision from the big land, there was no even any talk, because we didn't have it from the very beginning. We were surrounded on the 3rd March. We were totally surrounded. Right. On 11th April, we got the last command from our officers, that the majority want to surrender just to save people, but who doesn't want to may do any shifting, any decision they like. We wanted to just to see what is going on and what kind of chance do we have. We've seen attempts of our Marines to give up Russian soldiers, that there were no officers there were no one, and that were soldiers with a weapon, PKM machine gun, and they tried to kill the Marines, our Marines, and we understood that we will not do this. On the 13th of April, we catch a Russian soldier, because I knew that battalion and brigade doesn't exist anymore. So we made a decision together with all our troops. I couldn't decide one for all 95 people. That is impossible. That is silly. So when I got we got the negotiations with the Russians, there was colonel. He said that he is a colonel of security service of Donetsk Republic. So I came back and said that we got a chance to surround, to give up them, and they won't do anything with us because their interest to stop this fighting. Because if we're 100 guys from our side and 400 guys from their side,
right.
And for them, well, yes, sure, they would destroy us for sure, because they got everything. They got planes, they got tanks, they got big artillery systems, etc. So we got just AK-74 RPG and PKM. So that they won't even try to assault us. They would just bomb us. I rely on that was a high officer of Russian side, and his interest is to bring us to his command and say, look, I got almost 100 captivities. So I rely on this, and yes, they didn't do anything with us. We just surrender and came to further locations.
And so, in the context, there's a Russian soldier you captured the day prior on April 13th, and he has cell phone, and you asked him to call his commander,
yes,
and then you talked to his commander on the phone.
The situation was like that was 19-year-old guy. He came by a white civil car, Niva, small jeep, civilian jeep. And there were two soldiers. There was a little fight, little assault operation. One of them just ran away, escaped, and this one we captured. He gave up to us. And when I saw him, I said, like, what? How did you get here? And he said, my commander said that there is no one here. Well, yeah, of course, the commander wanted this guy to get in our hands, because he understood that in these 2 square kilometers there are plenty of Marines, because that was the only position, the only sector they did not control in the whole factory. Right. So that was pretty much dangerous to go there with the platoon, for example, because probably we could kill all of them. So he just sent this guy. He said that, look, just take that position. There is no one there. And well, I think he was crying so much. And at that time, his wife, I don't know. Well, you know, if woman loves you, probably she can feel something. She wrote a message to him, and I've seen that his cell phone works. And I first of all, we said, like, call to your wife and say that you're okay, everything is cool, like you are with your guys, with your friends, and just to make her calm. That was his first call. The second call was from his commander. He called him and he was asking, like, where are you? That was my first negotiations. No one touched me. I didn't know how to do this. So we decided to make a meeting on the bridge. Everyone knew, like, where is this bridge? A month ago, they tried to assault our position in that sector. So they really knew they got plenty casualties there, more than 30 people. So they knew where this bridge. And I got me and four or five guys with me. And this colonel came with a tank T-72 and approximately 50 this special force Sobor. And yes, we got the negotiations, and I wanted to. My opinion was that because I knew at that time that they got more than 10,000 soldiers in Hostomel surrounded, and I said to him, like, look, I can make a call, and let's just make an exchange today on the front line. You just take us 100 guys and bring us back. You will got 300 or 400 your soldiers, Russian soldiers, for us. I just let me make a call. He looked at me and said, no one goes from Mariupol. Just if we were in Kherson or Kharkov, we could do this. But Mariupol, he said no. And I didn't know why. In the nearest future, I discovered why.
So you meet up with this colonel, you negotiate with him.
Yes.
And you brought up 5 guys to provide cover for you.
Yes.
And then after you talked, you went back to the group. And also the context here is that before this, your brigade tried to break out one time. They took heavy casualties doing so. And then one of the battalions had already surrendered At this point, the battalion there's no battalion staff. You're on your own.
Yes.
You have a group of about 90 people with you. And you had 90 with you because these are guys who tried to escape, and then they couldn't make it out,
They
so they
survived,
came back.
and they came back to our factory, and we met each other. Others who failed, they
Right.
in the field.
But as a sergeant, you now are basically in charge of almost a company of people, right? You have that much, and you're the one negotiating on their behalf. So you talked to this colonel, and you returned to your group, and then what happened?
I came back and I said that, guys, there is a chance to survive. Someone who wants to survive, I will surround. So firstly, approximately 40 guys said that we will not do this. We will fight, we will die, but we will not give up. I said, yes, guys, I really respect you. This is your choice, and give us 30 minutes. We will go out, and then you do what you think is better for you. But probably in 5-10 minutes, this group of people came back, because one of my support group, one of them was a guy from that part, and he told them what he has seen, and they changed their decision, changed their mind, and they came back in probably 5-10 minutes and said that we'll go with you. And that was the finish, because before that I gave a radio station to this colonel and said that give me like 30 minutes, I will tell you our decision, and we will continue our cooperation. So I remember that time, 14:40 p.m. we came to the Russian force, and we gave our AK-74 without any bullets, without anything. Before that, we broke all our mobile cell phones. We broke all ammunition, Archers, Harris, everything we could break.
Archer is a thermal optic, and Harris is a US-made radio system.
Yes. We broke everything, all the machine guns, so everything what could be broken was broken.
And you angered the Russians when you broke all of your equipment, right?
Especially for Archer, I thought that this guy is gonna shoot our nails for that, because really we were smoking, and he came back with the broken Archer, and he said, who did that? And he was really angry, because the Russians at least at that period of time, they didn't have such technical stuff. That was a problem. But indeed, they were really glad that was the end, that they don't have to assault our position, and they will survive this day 100%. That's why they were glad. They gave us cigarettes. We were speaking with them. I even there was a moment when I even started to argue with some of sober sergeant in some political team, but very quickly they mentioned me that where I am, what is going on, and that I have to be more calm.
So you surrendered at the bridge, right? That was northwest, I think, of the Illich factory. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then once you brought all about 90 Marines and Ukrainian soldiers with you.
Yes.
And then what happened from there?
Buses came. We got inside, and from this factory we came. We came to Sartana. That was the first place we got there. The Sartana is a small village on the east side of Mariupol. They gathered there all prisoners from Mariupol. At that period of time, in that position, nobody touched us, even a finger. But guys from Britain and USA, I think one American guy was there also. They started beat them up already there. Well, that is the position of Russians, as we say, everyone is equal, but even among the equal, there is someone who is the most equal. The same as here, Russians, they don't like anyone. They don't like any of their neighbor. But among all of them, there is someone whom they don't like mostly. That is Americans. Of course, Americans. I'm speaking about the Americans. I'm not speaking about Mexicans. They don't care about Mexico. Most of them don't even know where is it. I'm speaking about United States, Canada, Britain. For them, that's all the same. They call all of you Anglo-Saxons. and consider you like a natural enemy. That's why in the year 2024 they captured all Europeans on the battlefield. But when they got this Australian guy, they just shoot him immediately. They didn't even bring him to Russia because for them, all these English speakers, native English speakers, they don't want to see them alive. Well, at least these troops, the Russian troops, for sure. And we considered in that opinion in captivity in prison.
So they take you to Sartana. This is still in Ukraine.
Right? Yes, that is Donetsk region.
And you drove through the city, so you saw the city was entirely destroyed. Mariupol at this point.
Mariupol was destroyed completely, totally. There is a funny story. On the very beginning of March, first half of March, we got internet sometimes, and sometimes we got the news. My friend got the cell phone. He read the news, and he started to laugh. I said, like, what's going on? And he said, listen, news from Kharkiv. The situation is critical, the most critical in country. Russians attacked the city by air forces, bombed it 10 times a day. And we were laughing because Russians bombed Mariupol 10 times while he read this story. You know, they were bombing the city every 15, every 20 minutes. So, and that was during 1.5 months. Just try to guess what was with the city. That was destroyed completely.
Sure. So when you get to Sartana, you said that they didn't. There was no real abuse there except against the British and American Marines. These are British and Americans who joined the Ukrainian military and were serving before the war.
Yes, they were like usual professional soldiers. They got the contracts and they were serving. They served the same like me and others, no matter the nationality. They were trying to get the Ukrainian passport. Also, some of them. They just served in, the majority of them served in airborne company because the period they signed the contract, the commander of airborne company, he spoke English fluently, even better than me. The majority of them were like airborne.
And then from Sartana, where did they take you?
To Olenivka. And that was the beginning of our... We didn't know how is it to be a prisoner in your own country, not even in prisoner or military prisoner. So we didn't know any rules. We didn't know what will happen. We didn't know anything. So when we came to Olenivka, there was 830 soldiers approximately. And when we came, they started just to beat up us, all of us, each of us. So bus is coming to the entrance fee, and all soldiers had to go out one by one. There was a man. He had to check your documents, any documents you have, and he asked like, "Who are you? You are troops, and your."
Like your rank, your position, and then what service you're part of, right?
Yes. So the higher position you got, the higher rank you got, more beats you got. The worst was for the guys from National Guard. Everything what is connected with the national, in Russians' opinion, that is Nazism. So National Guard in Ukraine, that is Nazism. National Guard in Germany, that is Nazism. National Guard in the United States, that is Nazism. So everything what got the word national, that is, for them, that is awful. And guys from National Guard, they got really hard times because some of them was my friend, and I've seen what happened. Well, for example, if they beat me 4 times with the baton, police baton, my back, and probably 5 times my legs. Well, for the guys from National Guard, that was much harder. They beat them up. I don't know, but probably 10 minutes each of them with the dogs and etc. So
you come up the bus one by one, right? There's an officer there who asks your rank, what service you're part of, right? And then from there you go to the barracks. Before you get there, that's when the beatings occur.
Yes.
Right?
So there was a yard between the barracks. And there was a corridor made of guards. And while you are going through this corridor, they are beating you with batons Well, at that time that was just batons, and Olenivka was not so crucial as other places, so that was just a beginning, and we didn't know what is going on. So we came there. They put us into the barrack, and there we got nothing, no water, no medicines. We got nothing. We were waiting. They feed us 3 times a day. Breakfast was 300 milligrams of tea and piece of bread. The supper the same, and the meal was like tea, bread, piece of bread, and maybe 200 grams of porridge. Yeah. Different kind of. That's it. So I spent there 4 days, and then they made us to fill some blanks. I read that has to be shifted in Taganrog. Taganrog, that is Rostov region in Russian territory. We decided that it's gonna be an exchange through Russia, but that was a mistake. So
you thought that was going to happen.
Yes,
you thought you were going to be.
That's why I got the group of my friends from my Marines. We were together in our position. Charlie. We were together in Sartana, in Olenivka. We tried to be together all the time, and together we wrote all those blanks and went to Russian territory. That was on 19th of April, approximately 2022.
And you said when you got there, you had to take all your clothing off.
Yes, so we were totally naked. They checked everything. We couldn't have any metal, any sticks, anything with us. While that was going on, like they beat up all of us. Mostly they beat up guys from mortars, artillery divisions, tank operators, and something like that. So
snipers too, you said.
Snipers, you'd better don't give up if you're a sniper. Our sniper from our battalion, they broke his fingers in Olenivka. But that was the last time I've seen him at all. So as I know, for snipers, that worse for the infantry.
Okay, and you said some of the National Guard guys, they beat them until they're unconscious, right? At this point.
Yeah, but still, these guys, I know. My friend was with me till the very end.
And Olenivka, this is also where the Azov prisoners were killed later.
Yes,
I think in June.
Olenivka, that is the prison. That is true. The prison where Azov soldiers were killed. Russians said that that was a HIMARS. What is also ridiculous. I've seen videos from Olenivka. I've seen these barracks, and I have witnesses, our Marines, who can tell that these guys from Azov, they were just fired in one of barrack by Russians, because Russians, they hate Azov. They just hate it. They don't want. If you ask any Russian guard, he would say that they had to be just shoot and forget about the living. That's all.
How long were you at Olenivka for?
4 days, I think.
Okay, so 4 days. At this time, mentally, you at this point, it's been about 2 months since the war began. A month and a half was in Mariupol under constant bombardment, and then now you've spent 4 days in captivity. And you said at this point you still think you can be exchanged, right? You thought that there'd be exchanged in the near future.
Everything was obvious in the next location we came. That was prison number 2, Ryarsk, Ryazan region. Actually,
before you went to Taganrog first, right?
Yeah, but we were there just we came there to the airport,
right.
To the plane, and we came to Ryarsk by plane. We came from Donetsk to Taganrog by buses. Then Russian Sober, I think that was Sober or Amon, that is police SWAT in Russian Federation.
Yeah, so Sober is SWAT team. Oman is kind of like riot police who also do guard duty.
Yeah, so these Russian sober, they got us. They closed our eyes by scotch.
Like tape or...
Yes. And they put us to this plane. We hope that's gonna be exchanged, that we are flying home. One of us, one prisoner, asked to give him a cigarette. That sober guy said, like, "What did you say? Are you crazy? You don't understand where are you?" And he beat him up, and I understood that this not is exchange for sure. That we're going somewhere further, and we came to Ryarsk. I don't know where is this airport, because our eyes were closed. They put us to this special trucks for prisoners.
Right.
Each country got such trucks, so we were in these trucks.
The Avtozak.
Yeah, it calls Avtozak. We were going to the prison. We were going so long, and at that time, I remember I was scared so much, because I just then I realized that I am here in Russian territory, the biggest country in the world. I'm in Russia. They are leading me somewhere. No one, just God knows where I am right now. And a couple of days before, I was shooting these Russians. I was fighting with them. And
right.
This is Russia. This is not Canada. There's little bit difference. And I was understood that the situation is not just horrible, that is something unbelievable. And I don't know why I mentioned the film with Mel Gibson, this shooter.
Lethal Weapon.
Yes, there was an episode when some criminals got him, prisoned him, and they were beating up him, just giving some questions to him, and they beat up him with a shocker as well. I don't know why I mentioned this film. I don't know why, but the Captivity was exactly like that. That was truly like in that film, or partially. Yeah, we came to Ryarsk.
And so Ryarsk is in Ryazan region of Russia.
Yeah.
So you flew there on Il-76 aircraft, most likely.
Yeah.
You've been told nothing at this point, right? So you know you're in Russia.
Since that time, they did not say any kind of information, because we didn't have a right to have any information. We didn't know where are we. We didn't know the location. We didn't have to know even the date, even a time of day, so nothing.
Okay.
They tried to do this, but of course, we got thousands and thousands of prisoners. So someone heard something from that place, someone heard something from another place, from another guy, and we got some information. We came to this Ryarsk, and the thing is about this Russian prison. What you have to know, each time you change the prison, you change the location, you come from another prison to another, they organize prison guards, organize some kind of meeting for you to make you understand where are you, who is the chief here, and that was pretty strong. So Russians are cruel. They are cruel. That's nature. I don't know how to say this. In the situation, for example, British or Japan guy will not do not anything with you. The Russian soldier, he will beat you. So when we came to this prison, well, first they made us pray, and then Russian guards, they took each of us one by one to some place we didn't know. We just heard some screams, and that's it. That's all. What you just hear the screams all the time.
And when you're on the drive there in the Avtozak, in the prison vehicle, you have your individual kind of container, right?
Yeah.
So it's like solitary confinement almost. It's like a 3-4 hour drive to the prison. You're not told anything. You get off the bus.
Closed eyes. They opened my eyes just inside some room. So from the very beginning, I didn't know even what is this place. I discovered that this is the prison in Ryarsk much later.
So when you get off the bus, if you describe it to us, so you're blindfolded, right? And then you're made to bend over the entire time, right? So you're walking with your hands behind your back.
Hands are in front of you. It's
zip tie on it. So
you got this zip tie. Your eyes are closed. Just two guards. They take you and lead you inside. Then they put you on the knees, take off this
Zip
stuff.
tie.
Yeah, and you are standing on your knees. They put your head on the floor so you can touch it, and you just hear all these screams that someone is beaten up. And they different, you hear these different commands. They're crazy about this national Russian songs. Katyusha, Девочка Смуглянка. They made you to sing this. They can make you sing Russian national song, and etc. You are doing this till the time another guards take you and lead to some other place. They bring me out from the room to the corridor, made me take off all the clothes, though I was naked. After that, what is going on further? First of all, they lead you to the cabinet with the doctor. The doctor has to check out your health. She look at you, and if she see that you got some broken bones or something else, she say like, don't touch him. Okay. But if you are okay, if you look okay, then she's make a sign that you can work. Okay. Then they bring you to another cabinet. They lead me to the cabinet with the documents. And what you have to know, that since that time we stand and we walk self-bent. All 2.5 years self-bent.
You bent over, basically.
Yep. So I came there because you are self-bent. You don't see anything. You have to walk with the closed eyes. That is the order of guards. You can't look at faces. You can't watch their eyes. That is denied. Right. So I came inside the room, and I've seen the table with the documents. There was passports and military passports, IDs, all these credit cards, and some man in blue uniform that was seen. That is federal institution of prison.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
They got the blue uniform, and military and police squad, they got the black uniform. The guard who was leading me, who was with me, he got the black uniform, so I think he was from Sober or something like that, or maybe military police. And so the guy inside the room, he asked me, "Do you see any of your documents?" And I got just military passport with me, just to, so I would have official document. And I said, yes, I can see. And he said, he asked my rank. I said, sergeant. And the guard said, he asked me, you're a sergeant, are you a squad leader? I said, yes. He said, did you shoot in our troops? Well, at that time, I was still, I didn't understand what is going on. And I was a little bit more brave than further. So I said that I was fighting with your soldiers, as usual, because I'm squad leader of Marines.
You give an honest answer.
Yes, yeah. So obviously I did. And he said, you're done. Well, that was not so polite as I said right now. Of course, in Russian language, that sounds in another way. He led me further from the cabinet to the corridor, but I didn't see anything. And then he stopped, turned me on the right side, and then I heard that, hey guys, this one shoot our guys, our troops. And I thought, what kind of guys? I put my head up, and I've seen the corridor with this special force, approximately 10 soldiers, and I'm alone, and all of them are watching me, and I was like, God. And he led me through this corridor. They beat me up, my head, my legs, everywhere they could. He put me on the chair in some room. There were Russian prisoners. They were making a job in this prison, and the prisoner tried to shave me with the shaving machine. to make me bold.
Yeah.
But while he was doing this, these guards, they were beating my face, so he couldn't do it properly. At the same time, he had to shave me, and the special force, they wanted to beat me up. And they wanted more, so they make him wait to go out from the room. They put me up and started to beat me. I made some block, and they didn't like that. They said, stand still, put your arms down. I did it, and they just started to beat my face, beat my head, beat my liver. And
this was with like a baton, right? Police
No,
baton,
at that time, no baton. That was the very beginning, when they are tired.
Right.
Yes, they started to use the baton, but at that time they just made it because this special force, all of them are sportsmen, so
they're punching you with their fists.
Yeah. So they just having fun with that. Then they put me to another cabinet. There was some I think that detective. He started to make questions,
like an interrogator.
Yeah. With the balaclava, of course, because all of them were with the balaclava. So he started to ask me questions, fast questions, like my rank, my second name, my military name, and my position. He showed me the map, asked me a couple of questions. I showed him, and he understood. I think he understood that I know the map, that I can understand, explain something on the map. That is pretty important to know the map. And he made some plus, and then all the time I was answering his questions, and at this time guards were beating me. There was blood everywhere, and then he showed the guards that that's it, you can take him. Lead me to the corridor to continue all this game, and at that time another guard, I think that was an officer, he took me and said that that's enough for him, and he leads me to my room, and he said that, you know what, like, that is good that you said that you shoot.
That you shot at Russians, that you were honest about this.
Yes, that you were honest, and that is the thing is, which you have to understand, in prison, in Russian captivity, you may say lie, but if they will discover at least once, they will speak. Yeah, they are cruel, but that would be much worse after that. So, in case you can say the truth, at least about yourself, so that is
about what you did, just that the honesty was the best.
You better to be honest, because indeed they respect honest. So, and they disrespect lies. So.
But at some point you'll break, and you'll just do whatever they want.
They will break you anyway. Don't even dream that the experience is that they will do everything they need from you, and you have there no chance.
Right.
Because this is the story of all this empire. It was built on the prison. I will tell further. In Mordovia, we were in prison, which were built in ancient times for the foreign prisoners in a very small village. The village was approximately 5,000 people, and there were two prisons in that village. And just try to guess what were doing all these people who lived there. They worked in these prisons. Their fathers worked in these grandfathers, and then since Yekaterina, they were there.
Right.
So they know what to do. They are the best in this. The story of these jails is even longer than the story of United States. So just try to guess. They will make you to sign any document they want. That's just a technical question.
So they take you to a room. Right, and that's the room you were staying the rest of your time at this prison, right? And it was you and 6 other POWs with you, right?
Yeah, in my first room there was six prisoners, and that was 20th of April, I suppose. We didn't know where are we. We didn't understand anything. I just saw a window with this iron
bars. Yeah.
Yeah. and we didn't even know that is a prison, because we are military prisoners. So what are we doing in the civil prison?
Right.
But next day we understood what's going on, and I understood why soldiers from Mariupol don't go anywhere. We heard from the very morning, like at 9 or 10 a.m., they started to come inside to come to the rooms. They just named one surname and put this man somewhere else. No one knows. And we started to hear the screams. And then we got that, some guys said that, some guy in my room, he said that, don't worry guys, in 1 month we will be at home. And I said, like, which month? Are you kidding? You don't understand what is going on? In Mariupol were killed 10,000 people. Right. They were killed. By whom? And he said, well, what do you mean by whom? Like, by Russian Air Force. Didn't you see? They were bombing this city 1.5 months. I said, yes, of course. You will go to that room, to the interrogators. You will say the same things, and we will see what is going on, what will happen to you next. And that was the truth. So we were there 10 months in Ryarsk. All the interrogation was about criminal orders of our command and all the military criminals.
They were asking you, because they assumed you had received criminal orders.
Exactly.
And that they assumed that basically there was a lot of kind of criminal actions occurring, and they wanted you to kind of confirm what they thought was true.
But again, you have to understand how it is going on. You come inside to the room. There is an interrogator, one, and there is 1 or 2 guys from Sobor. What are they doing there? They are with the batons, they are with the shockers, and etc. And the interrogator he asks you, like, have you ever heard a command to kill some civilian? Of course, no, because in this factory there were no civilians. Like, that is ridiculous. Right. What do they do there 1.5 months in the biggest factory, like the city? You don't have any food there. You don't have any water there. You don't have anything there. What are you going to do there? So, of course not. And after that, you got this sober works. They start beating you up with shocker and etc. And
it's like a taser, but they also have a baton that has a taser.
Yes, they got different. They got the special ammunition.
Right.
And ammunition they bought, because this is a governmental ammunition. If you break it, you have to write an explanation and work with plenty of papers. Why do you need this? If you can just buy for yourself and use it how you like. So, yeah. So, from the very beginning, that was like that. But then further, when they got, for example, they were making a resource and they choose some people. I think that what was probably a third part of all prisoners whom they truly torture. That was something like special. If they want you to sign some document or to tell something they want to hear, so they bring you to the room. And you sit down. They
zip tie your hands.
Yeah, zip tie your hands and zip tie your legs, and then you see the table. On the table there are needles. That's for your nails. Then you got shocker, the hand shocker, and
a taser, I guess we call it.
Yeah, and then. That's some kind of special shocker that has a box. You can control the power.
Voltage,
They put some links to your ears.
We would call it electrocution. So they're electrocuting you.
Something like that. Then you got a police baton, but also you got some kind of plastic baton. That's all the same. Like you can buy it in some building shop. Very strong thing if you want to make harm to someone. Because of plastic, that makes you to feel a fire pain, something like that. Especially if you don't have any clothes on yourself. Right. So if it's just your skin, that's horrible. That's awful. And
it's also, you mentioned before that they they don't want to break people's bones. They're not trying to, because obviously they don't want to actually create permanent injuries.
They don't want to work with you to bring some doctors to you, because that's gonna be a trouble. That's why they try to kick your arms and kick your legs mostly, because bones are pretty strong but painful.
Well, there's a lot of flesh in your leg. That's why you can beat it a lot without breaking.
That is tens times they just got one place and they start beat you up like 10 times.
Same point over time.
Yes, and that is horrible, because just try to imagine, today you got an interrogation, you got 30 punches on your leg.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow you got to the same interrogation and your leg it looks like as if it's broken,
right.
But it's not, and they start to do the same, and you got 3-4 days like that's horrible pain. I didn't know. Well, I read about Roman legion in ancient times. They got this penalty. The worst penalty is called decimation. That was the way the Roman legionnaires were killed by the sticks. And I thought, why the sticks? Like, why not knives? Like, there is not a lot of blood. That's just a stick. But after the Russian prison, I understand that the stick is the worst. So when they bring you into interrogation, right? So first off, you never know how long it's going to last, right? How long does this typically last? Yes, well, it depends. If they want something specific from you, they can work with you 3 hours. No problem.
So 3 hours in which the guys the entire time are basically either beating you with batons, with these kind of plastic tubes, electrocuting you, right, in the head, other parts of your body.
Yeah. Then you got...
You said they also put needles under your fingernails.
Yes. And that is the latest version. That is from the very beginning. Like, well, that's not so... comparison to other stuff, that's nothing.
So what was the worst?
Stick.
The plastic things, okay.
Yes, the plastic. And shocker. Well, for me, shocker, but I think probably, I know plenty of guys, our prisoners, they were okay with the shocker. For them, that was like normal. They got used. But for me, I don't know why. Maybe that's because of psychology, but I hate this show.
But I mean, but it's attached to your head, right? So they're electrocuting from up here. Is that right?
That is because they were beating up us every day in Mordovia, and the shocker was every day,
right.
And they didn't beat you at that period of time. They didn't beat your head, your ears. No, they were beating up.
But you said during interrogation they would put things on your head, and so there'd be electrocution that way too.
But that was, as I said, not to everyone.
Right.
That was to the special continent.
Okay.
So
you weren't getting it as bad as these other guys.
No,
other guys are getting it worse.
I was lucky, as I said. I got my team. We were together till the end, and we got to this prison together. So when they were asking me some questions, and I was like, I respond, and the last question, who was with you at that time, and who can confirm your words? And I said, like, 5 guys here in the neighbor rooms, you can ask them. So
how critical was that for you, just surviving this entire ordeal? You had the guys you've been with the entire time, you knew well, and so on.
Ryarsk was a scout camp according to Mordva. Ryarsk was pretty normal, that was not so bad.
Well, I mean, as you were saying, basically, you thought when you're in Mariupol during the battle, you thought that was the worst thing possible.
Captivity is 10 times worse than Mariupol.
Right. So when you're getting bombed every day by 3 Russian regiments, area regiments, artillery, everything, that any day in captivity is worse than that.
I would say that that is 2 different things. You got 2 different type of fears. You can feel the difference. So when in Mariupol they tried to kill us, then when tank attacks you or air force, and you feel this. Afraid that your organism tries to explain you that you have to survive, that you have to escape somewhere. And you can make some movements, you can shift yourself somewhere, you can make some decision. So you are still, even then, you are free. But you are scared, yes, because you can die. Of course, that's normal for people to scare for their lives. But in captivity, that's totally different. You know that you won't die. They will not let you to die. But the way of life is such that you'd better to die. Today, I can say that, yes, thanks God, I survived. Everything is perfect for me. But in captivity, every day, I thought, like, why I didn't shoot myself? That was like that. Again, in Ryarsk, that was, for me, that was normal.
Well, it became comparatively normal.
Yes,
Because it got much worse.
Exactly. So, yeah, because at that time, they didn't beat us up just for fun. Well, in autumn and winter, the year 2022, they started to do this 3-4 times. They beat me up just for fun. And that was pretty much cruel. Your legs becomes 2-3 times bigger. You can see the blood under your skin.
Right.
It's not like, that is not the kind of fight in somewhere in a bar with another guy. You cannot protect yourself. Your eyes are closed. So, because this is the command.
So you don't see the strikes coming.
You don't see,
you have no clue.
So if one of them will try to to punch your liver, there's gonna be you
can't protect.
Yeah, you can protect, and you can feel as if Mike Tyson did it,
right?
Because you didn't see, you didn't expect, and you don't need much in your body to make you suffer. That's
what was a normal day like in Ryarsk? Like from morning to evening.
At 6 a.m. You have to wake up. You have to clean your room, to prepare your bed. Then you got the breakfast. Tea, piece of bread, Porsche. Then you got this morning check. They were checking all the rooms.
So the guards come into the rooms?
Yeah, exactly. And
what did they do during this time?
They were just checking the room. They were checking, don't we have any iron...
weapons or anything like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just basic prison guard.
Yeah. And sometimes if someone was breaking the rules, they could beat up the room because of it. Then after this checking up, they started to work interrogators since 11 to 5 or 6 p.m. And during this time, you got dinner from 12 to 1 p.m.
Lunch.
Yes, lunch. You got on this lunch, you got some soup, borscht, and tea with bread. But the thing is that when the Russian prisoner start to give you food, he's coming to the corridor. You got, for example, like 10 rooms there, and you got 6-8 people, prisoners in each room. So I don't know what is the reason. Probably they can't count, but they couldn't count how many milligrams do you need in average for each plate.
Right.
So first room got approximately 100 milligrams of borscht and soup, and the last room got half a liter,
Okay, yeah.
So that's like that. That is why we got some Ukrainian prisoners who are coming back from Russia, and they look like as if they are already dead. You can't even understand.
Skinny.
Yeah, so skinny,
emaciated, basically.
like in like Nazis did this the same 70 years ago. That is the reason. And yes, interrogations.
But the interrogation would be one person at a time, right?
Yeah. There was 4 floors. On each floor, we got one. We called it quest room.
Okay.
So the room for the interrogations, and so they were working like there was 4 interrogators working together.
And how many prisoners were there per floor?
I know that in the whole there was approximately 220, 230 prisoners.
Okay. In 4 floors,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So probably 60, 70, something like that. And your room was right next to the interrogation room, right?
Yes, I've been in the room number 19, and it was the next room after the interrogator room. And that was the period, the end of spring and start of summer. It was hot, and the windows were opened, and we heard everything, like from the very morning to the very end of day. We heard every day during 3-4 months. We heard the screams, and now every time the door was opening in our room, I thought that I'm gonna die immediately just because of this.
Because they might take you to the room.
Yes. We didn't know what do they want, and that was so scary. Just because of you don't know what is going on, what will happen to you.
And it could just be a regular check, but you don't know if they're pulling you out, you're going to be tortured or not.
I remember one funny situation. The interrogators were working, and windows were opened, of course. We've seen outside some granny was going with her granddaughter. She took her from school, probably. I don't know. The girl was 8 years old. And they heard these screams. The grandma stopped, looked at the prison, and she said they could at least close the windows, turned around and went on like this. So I think the whole city heard, and the whole city knew what's going on.
I mean, because these towns, the prison is the main kind of job thing for these towns.
I think that Ryarsk is not a village, that is a city, small city, but a city. I think they have something more.
But in Mordovia,
exactly, that was
the town is the prison.
The only thing you can make or land worker, farmer, or work in prison. That's it.
You're going back to the questioning. So the Russians, they're asking what a few different priorities, right? In these interrogations. One was about what kind of criminal orders you've done. What else they were asking about? What kind of organizations were you part of?
There was a lot of, interrogator was from different organizations. There was military interrogators. There was scout interrogations, FSB, plenty of times. And I remember there was some, interrogator from GRU, that's military
intelligence, yeah.
So they were interested in all our contacts with NATO and USA Army. So all military studies, if we got some relatives in Europe or USA, if we got some friends in NATO armies, in USA Army, if we got any type of contacts, they were asking us about our political attitude to Russia and USA. Especially, they were interested in. They didn't know so much about United States, but I think that they have some trigger for American Democracy Party. Something
Democratic,
because for them they know that Russia is authority state.
Right.
There is no democracy in Russia. They know this, and for them that is okay. And
so you think that they had an issue with the Democratic Party of the U.S. because they assumed democratic meant democracy, and they associated those two things?
I think the way Americans would like to see democracy in the whole world, the same way Russians would like to see authority regimes in the whole world.
Okay.
And that is not just Putin's opinion. That is opinion even the lowest soldier in Russian army. They are fighting for this.
And you also say during interrogations, they also use plastic bags, right?
Yes, for people who got this, who afraid the small rooms, small elevators. This is
claustrophobia.
Yeah, exactly.
Being concerned of the confined places.
If you got this claustrophobia, well, I know my friend, one of my friends, he got this kind of torture, and he got claustrophobia, and he is crazy about it.
So what did they do to him?
They just tied his hands, legs, and put this back on his head, and he couldn't breathe. And just because of it, that works more on your brain than on your body. But that is even worse. Well, he's almost crying when he heard the plastic bag, because that is really hard for such people to survive this just because of this claustrophobia.
I mean, so in the interrogation, you were saying they would beat you with the kind of plastic tubes, batons. They use needles under your fingernails, tasers, both like up on your head, also just on your body. And then they also kind of use plastic bags so you couldn't breathe. And then you also mentioned they would bring a water bottle too.
Yes.
And what was that for? 2
ways of using it. First of all, if you lose concussion from the pain,
consciousness.
Consciousness. If you lose consciousness or because of pain, they will take you back into this world with this water because it's cold.
That's how they wake you back up again.
Yeah. And the second time, that's another kind of torture. They put you on the floor. They put some sweater on your face.
Oh, and they put water. So they waterboard you then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I know one officer from our airborne company who survived this kind of torture, and that was, everything of it. That is easy to speak about it when you, after all, but that is so hard to feel this when it's going on with you. That is, truly, needles under the nails, your nails. That is not so horrible as this water, this shockers, electricity, and these batons. So just try to imagine how painful is that, how harmful for your psycho is it.
Sure.
So
did they waterboard you, or is that just other people?
Again, to the officers.
Okay, because the officers got it worse.
Yes, that was FSB who did this.
Okay.
With our officers in major cases. So that was Ryarsk. But as I said, Ryarsk was a scout camp comparison to Mordva.
And so you were in Ryarsk from end of April until February 7, 2023.
Yes.
So 10 months basically.
Exactly.
Join us next week for part 2 of Yevgeny's story. Thanks for tuning in to Chain Reaction, a podcast of the Foreign Policy Research Institute examining the political, security, economic, and social trends shaping Europe and Eurasia. Visit us on fbri.org for more on this topic and many others in the world of foreign policy and national security. Until next time.